You know Vikings as brutal warriors of the north, sailing across stormy seas to raid England, France, and beyond. But what if I told you they didn't just go west? They also ventured deep into the heart of the Middle East? Yes, the same fierce Norsemen who struck fear into the Christian world also clashed with the mighty Islamic Caliphates. They sailed through vast rivers, battled scorching deserts, and even fought alongside Muslim rulers as mercenaries. Some even reached the legendary city of Baghdad, the heart of the Islamic world. But how did they get there? What did they do in lands so far from their icy homeland? And why is this incredible chapter of Viking history rarely told? Today, we uncover the forgotten Viking expansion, one that reached Baghdad, the Caspian Sea, and even the gates of the Byzantine Empire. This is the story of the Norsemen in the Middle East, a history lost to time. When people think of Viking expansion, they imagine longships crossing the North Sea, plundering England and France. But few realize the Vikings also expanded eastward, carving a path through Russia, Ukraine, and into the Middle East. These Norsemen, known as the Russ's Vikings, sailed down the Dnieper and Volga rivers, reaching the Black Sea and Caspian Sea. They raided, traded, and settled along the way, founding key cities like Kyiv, which would later become the foundation of the Russian state. Some even built alliances with local Slavic and Turkic tribes, solidifying their control over key trade routes. But their ambitions didn't stop there. Using the rivers as highways, they pushed south, reaching the rich and powerful lands of the Abbasid Caliphate. The Vikings were drawn by stories of Baghdad's legendary wealth, the jewel of the Islamic world, filled with gold, silk, and spices. Unlike their brutal raids in the West, Vikings in the Middle East weren't just warriors. They were traders, explorers, and even mercenaries. Their journey into the Islamic world would change Viking history forever, blending Norse and Middle Eastern cultures in unexpected ways. As the Vikings pushed further south, they came into direct contact with one of the most advanced civilizations of the time, the Abbasid Caliphate. At its height, the Abbasid Empire stretched from North Africa to Persia, with Baghdad as its magnificent capital. Unlike in Europe, where Vikings were often seen as invaders, their role in the Middle East was more complex. Some came as raiders, attacking Caspian Sea settlements and looting cities along the trade routes. But many others came as merchants, eager to trade furs, amber, walrus ivory, and even slaves for Arabian silver silk and exotic spices. One of the most remarkable discoveries linking Vikings to the Islamic world is the massive number of Abbasid silver dirhams found in Viking burial sites in Scandinavia. These coins, minted in places like Baghdad and Samarkand, show how deeply the Norsemen were tied to the Islamic economy. Some Vikings even settled in Muslim lands, adopting elements of Islamic culture and technology. They carried back new weapons, armor, and even Arabic words that influenced the Norse language. But not all interactions were peaceful. Some Viking expeditions clashed with Muslim forces, leading to epic battles on the edges of the Islamic world. The Vikings weren't just raiders and traders, they were also fierce mercenaries, willing to sell their swords to the highest bidder. And in the Middle East, powerful rulers were eager to hire these battle-hardened warriors. One of the most famous employers of Viking mercenaries was the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine emperors, constantly at war with Muslim caliphates and rival Christian states, needed elite soldiers they could trust. The Vikings, known for their unmatched strength and loyalty, were perfect candidates. This led to the formation of the Varangian Guard, an elite unit of Norse warriors who served as the emperor's personal bodyguards. But the Byzantines weren't the only ones to use Viking mercenaries. Some Norsemen fought for Muslim rulers, protecting trade routes or serving as enforcers for wealthy Arab merchants. These Vikings learned Arabic, adopted new combat techniques, and even integrated into Middle Eastern society. Arab historians recorded their presence, describing their tall stature, blonde hair, and fearless fighting style. Some even converted to Islam and settled in the region permanently. This period of Viking history shows that they weren't just barbarian raiders, they were adaptable warriors, capable of thriving in any land. Despite their impact, the Vikings' role in the Middle East is largely forgotten. Why? Because history often focuses on their Western conquests, like raids on England and France. Their eastern expansion, though equally significant, remains overshadowed. Yet their influence is undeniable. The vast hordes of Abbasid silver dirhams found in Scandinavia prove that the Vikings were deeply involved in Middle Eastern trade. They brought back new technologies, weapons, and even words. Some Norse terms have Arabic origins, showing a blending of cultures. The Vikings also left their mark on the Byzantine Empire. The Varangian Guard continued to serve for centuries, influencing Byzantine military traditions. Some Norsemen even returned home with Eastern customs, influencing Scandinavian culture in ways rarely acknowledged. Artifacts like Viking swords with Arabic inscriptions further confirm this connection. The Norsemen may have started as raiders, but they ended up as global adventurers, connecting the North to the Islamic world. This forgotten history reminds us that the Vikings weren't just barbarians from the cold North. These Norse warriors weren't just raiders, they were explorers, traders, and mercenaries who left their mark across the world. From the frozen fjords of Scandinavia to the golden palaces of Baghdad, their journey into the Islamic world connected two vastly different civilizations, exchanging not just goods, but ideas, technology, and even language. Yet this incredible chapter of Viking history remains largely untold. If you enjoyed this dive into forgotten history, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What historical mystery should we uncover next? Let us know. Until next time, keep exploring the past.